right, welcome back to another Spinato Spin. Always anxious to talk to you every week. Try to prepare ourselves, get something going on for us, have ourselves a good little chat here. You know, there's a lot of things to be said about what really makes people do things or what makes people want to do things. You know, it comes down to a couple things, and it's been pointed out to me this week talking to a few people. You know what really gets people going? Goals and games. Goals and games. I'll play a little tie down with you. You like playing games, don't you? You have a lot of fun when you play games. Isn't that true? Well, think about this. When you start playing games, what happens? You start playing a game and think about what goes on. What really drives you? What really makes you want to play that game? Well, there's four basic factors that researchers have found. When they create a game, here's what they really want to find. They want to find a game that's winnable, that has a little novelty to it, has a goal built into it, and also gives you immediate feedback. You want those little prizes. You want those little things that tells you, good job, way to go, that's how you do it. That's what games are all about. You want to make sure your game is winnable, right? You want to make sure you feel good while you're playing it and that you're getting a chance to win. You don't want to try to figure out, the Russian dictionary in one night. That wouldn't be too much fun. But you want to see if you can win something. You want to walk away feeling good about it. A novelty, something that makes it a little more interesting as you go along. You see, you're not fooling anybody. This is how your mind works. People have made millions and millions of dollars off of you. But what about you? What drives you? What games do you set up in your mind to make you a more productive person? How do you challenge yourself? You know, there's a story of a guy that was climbing down a mountain, and the man who was holding him from the top, the rope gave way, and the next thing you know, he's swinging out there. And he's all banged up as he smashed against the mountain. All of a sudden, he realized he was pretty much done. If he didn't do everything exactly right, he was going to die. But he also realized that the weather was against him. The weather made it so tough for him while he was climbing on the mountain, he couldn't see. But he knew he had to set certain criteria. He still had his watch, so he was able to check to see how fast he was going. All of a sudden in his mind, he decided to create a game out of it. He decided if I can get 20 minutes down and be partial way down the mountain, I got a chance. I got an actual opportunity to still live. But I have to play the game right, and I have to do it the right way. Well, look at that, folks. A person was ready to die unless they played the game the right way. Well, what about you? What about you when you go to do something? Do you set it up as a game? Do you make it so you can enjoy the process? Do you make yourself feel good when you actually get to the end? Or get partial way to the end? Give yourself a pat in the back? Say, good job, move forward, way to go? How about with goals? Same thing. You break the goal into little itsy-bitsy pieces and you keep moving forward. That's what life is about. Life's about setting little goals and hitting them and feeling good and moving to the next and the next and the next and the next. That's how we start building something we want to be proud of. Here's a question for you. I'm going to take you back to 1976, which was almost 40 years ago. Who said, and listen to my words very carefully, who said, I am going to become the biggest star in all of Hollywood? The biggest box office star in all of Hollywood. Who said that in 1976? I'll give you a hint. His answer was, after they said, well, how are you going to do that? He said, well, it's just like bodybuilding. All you have to do is create the person or the image of what you want to be and live yourself into the image. You getting a better idea who it is now? How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? How about 20 years later, after 1976, after his movie Staying Hungry bombed, he became the biggest box office. How did he do that? How did he do it? Was it luck? Was he just lucky? No, he built an image. He created a vision of who he wanted to be, and he built himself into it, and he believed every day that he was striving towards it. And I've been thinking about that a lot. I've thought about it a lot, where I had a teacher in junior high that was in that movie. He was in that movie with him. Whatever happened to him? Obviously, he didn't create an image to make himself successful, because he didn't become as successful as Arnold did. Nowhere's near it. See, Arnold had a vision. And he took his weaknesses. He had certain weaknesses. He couldn't speak, right? He had an awful accent. But he took that, and that became his trademark. That whole thing, I'll be back, all that stuff, adios, whatever. Those are all things he used to create his power. He took weakness and made it a strength. He took vision and made it a strength. He took an actual colossal bomb and turned it into a vision, because he knew that he could do one thing. He can create who he wanted to be. He was able to take the message that he understood and the lesson he learned from bodybuilding and turn it into something amazing, something incredible. I'm not going to talk about the rest of his life from that point on, but let's just look at those 20 years, folks. I mean, if ever there was a poster child for what you want to be and who you want to create, it was Arnold. Now, everything that goes forward, everything you do out here comes to that, right? We got to build a vision. We got to see ourselves getting it. We got to see ourselves getting closer and closer to what we really want. That's what life comes down to. Life comes down to another thing, too. It's not what they say this over and over. They say it's not the goal. It's not making the goal. It's who the goal makes. Who do you become by creating and reaching that goal? You know, they said one thing, too. It blew my mind. I was reading a book. I heard this. He said, Charlie Chaplin, you know who he is? I'll tell you, I looked at a picture of him, man. He was an amazingly handsome guy. I never knew that he had all those dashing good looks, but he covered himself up and he looked like that, okay? Maybe you've seen him, Keystone Cops, way back in the day. Original funny guy, kind of a great pantomimer. All that stuff, okay? But anyway, he entered a Charlie Chaplin, okay, look-alike contest. He entered himself as a goof. Wouldn't you think he would win that contest? He didn't. He came in third. The judges didn't know it was him, and they picked him as the third runner-up, second runner-up. Are you kidding me? You know what that proves? That proves one thing, and I'll end it with this, and we'll think about it next time we meet next week. You know what it proves? It proves we really have, and you and I and everyone that's watching this, no personality. No personality. Our personality is ever evolving. See, on that day, Charlie Chaplin wasn't Charlie Chaplin to other people, was he? No. Well, who are you every day? Every day you're trying to get better and better. That's who you are, right? You want to get better and better, right? That's what we're all about, getting better and better. Our personality is always evolving to be the best we could possibly be. I'll leave you with that thought, folks, and I hope you have a great week. And thanks a lot for listening to Spinato Spin. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one now.